Hey friends, welcome back to Two Bears Homestead. My name is Paul, the other bear is Rob, and I am doing this video from my desk tonight because I was editing a video that I had for you, and then I realized I didn't have any sound. So for some reason the jack on my camera wasn't in all the way, and so I didn't get any of the sound that I made for or recorded for this video. And I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me, right? So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of looking at the footage and I'm gonna do a little bit of a voiceover. But tonight what we're doing, or what I've done, is I made a brine to make corned beef for St. Patrick's Day. Now the reason I did it is because, have you looked at the price of corned beef this year? I mean, I kid you not. I mean, I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. You know, I mean, I knew it was going to be a little bit more expensive than it was last year, and I thought last year was a ripoff. I'm seeing $14.99 a pound for corned beef. I'm like, there's no way in hell I'm paying that. I'm just not going to do it. You know, I mean, I'm not going to do it. I'll go without before I pay $14.99 for corned beef. So, but at the end of the day, it's actually a very simple process. So I figured I would try that this year and take you along with me. So I'm brining my beef brisket for St. Patrick's Day to make corned beef. So making the brine is actually pretty simple. So I researched different recipes online for the brine that I wanted to use. But at the end of the day, a lot of it's just pickling spices and sugar, obviously salt, and then the pink curing salt, which is not a salt, it's sodium nitrite, so that is what gives the corned beef that pink color. Now you can do it without it, and I'll go over that in a minute, but so basically I found different recipes online and I kind of amalgamated them all to something that would work for me. So I basically started out, the recipe calls for about 10 cups of liquid, give or take. So what I did was I split it up, put about 5 cups of liquid in the pot, and that is a non-reactive pot, and that is basically 50% apple juice and 50% water for what's in the pot. And then I went ahead and added about a cup and a half, kind of a heaping cup and a half of just kosher salt. I had kosher sea salt and kosher salt. You could use Redmond's real salt, you know, Celtic salt, whatever salt you want. Just not the cheap table salt, because, you know, that's just not really salt. So use, you know, a good quality, you know, salt for your brine. And then to that I added just over a half a cup of sugar. I just use organic cane crystals, what I have on hand. You can use brown sugar, you know, whatever you want. You just want to get that sweetness in there. So you got 1.5 cups of salt and, you know, a little bit more than a half cup of sugar. And to that, I am adding about 2 teaspoons of mustard seeds. Now, I just have a mixture of the brown and white, what I had on hand, and then you see a little bit of a clove there. It's just throwing extra clove in there. And then I am adding about 5 teaspoons of the pink curing salt, or the Prague powder, or it's also called Instacure #1. So this is what it looks like. This is the brand that I'm using. I found it on, I guess it was Amazon. I've had it for a little while, but it's a pink curing salt. It is not pink Himalayan salt. Do not mix it up with pink Himalayan salt. You can use pink Himalayan salt for the salt, but this is not pink Himalayan salt. Do not mix this up with your salts in the kitchen, because it is not salt for cooking and eating. This is a brining, it's a chemical, it's sodium nitrite. So that's what's going to give it its pink color. And to that, I'm adding about 4 or 5 tablespoons of pickling spice. I think it was 4 tablespoons of pickling spice went in, and it's just regular pickling spice that I had in my cupboard. You can make your own pickling spice, but this is what I used. This is what I got. This was going in a pot. And then a cinnamon stick. So that's pretty much the brine. So you just want to get it up to a boil. You want to get this boiling to dissolve the salts and the sugars that are in this pot, and then slide it off the burner, and then add in the remaining, you know, 4 to 5 cups of liquid that you're going to put in there. I just added more water. I didn't add any more apple juice. I just wanted a little bit of apple juice to add the sweetness to it, on top of the already sweet sugar. And then just stick it in the refrigerator overnight, let it cool off. So here we are. I have the brine out of the refrigerator, and I had the brisket here ready to go. I patted it dry. It's about 6 pounds, so give or take, it might be like 5.9 or something. So I have that, and it is in this, obviously it's in this plastic container, and all I'm doing is just pouring this brine right over the brisket, just sticking it in there. But as I'm doing it, I realize this isn't gonna work because you can see that the brisket is out of the brine. I have no way of fully submerge it, so that's not going to work. So I was thinking about just putting it back in the pot, but that's not going to work either. So I decided to go ahead and just cut the brisket in half, and then put each half into a Ziploc bag, and then just divide the brine between the two Ziploc bags, and that's going to work out beautifully. And so, it took me a second to figure out how I was going to get it in there, and then I'm like, hey, I can just stand this up in another pot. It's like, hey, this my head is not a hat rack. It's more than a hat rack. So I went ahead and I just got the brine into each bag, and what I did was made sure I lay it down and I worked out the air that was in the bag. It's important to get the air out because you want the brisket in the brine all the time. That's just the best way to cure it. So even if you're doing a turkey for Thanksgiving, you want to make sure that the turkey is in the brine. So it's the same principle, just making sure the meat is fully in the brine. So there you have it. So I got the air out, and I literally, you see it. I got the air out, and they are fully submerged. They'll go in the refrigerator on a tray, and every time I'm in the refrigerator, I'll just reach in and I just turn them over, and that's going to work out beautifully. So there you have it. We are going to be brining this brisket for about 5 to 7 days. It's important, like I said, to make sure that no matter how you do it, whether you put it into a pot or whether it's in a container or whatever, however you decide to brine, you want to make sure that beef is down inside the brine. Some people say put a dinner plate on top of it. If you have canning weights, that'll work. You could put, a jar with water in it and just sit it on top, and on top of the meat. You just want it to get down in the liquid. That's the important thing. And you just want to rotate it. So in my case, every time I go into the refrigerator for something, I'll just go in there and I'll grab I'll just grab it and turn it over. Obviously, I need 2 hands because I don't want that seal to break on the bag, because that would be a mess. But I just get it in the refrigerator, and 5 to 7 days. And then when it's time to cook it, you just want to pull it out of the brine. Some people say rinse it off. I'm going to rinse it off because of the sodium nitrite, and then go ahead and cook it like you would your corned beef. Now, I like to cook the corned beef very similar to like how I do I don't do it in a crock pot. I do it in the oven. I used to do it in a roasting pan with liquid, but I've started using my Dutch oven because I just seem to get a better result that way. But however you cook it is your business. But now, if you want to do this, but you can't get the Instacure or the pink curing salt beforehand, you can do it without the pink curing salt. Add a little bit more salt to the recipe. It's not really that big of a deal, but the pink curing salt, remember, is not a salt for cooking and eating, but you won't get that pink color because the sodium nitrite is what changes the color of the meat. So it's a chemical reaction, but you can still do it. It'll still taste about the same. Just won't have that bright pinkish color that we're used to be associated with the Irish and the Jewish tradition of the corned beef. So, but at the end of the day, it'll still taste about the same. Just like I said, it may not be as pretty. So that's it. So to recap, just literally get it going. It's taking me longer to talk about this than it actually took me to do it, because literally it's liquid. Measure your stuff in a pot, turn it on high, bring it to a boil, cool it down, add the other half of the liquid to bring up your bulk, and then brine your meat. Well, then cool it and then brine your meat. So I think that's it. I think I managed to not butcher this too bad. So I will, when I'm cooking it, I'll try to do a short or something, maybe if I remember. Because I'm cooking this, I'm going to have people over for St. Patrick's Day. bringing my dad down, things like that. So I may not be able to record videos, but hopefully at least I'll try to get some, get some pictures of it at least. It'll probably be on my Facebook page. But that's it. I'm rambling on now, so I appreciate your watching and your patience with this. I hope this video wasn't all that butchered up and chopped up. But I do hope you try it, because it's a lot more cost effective than buying the corned beef at the store. That's all I gotta say. So, hit the like and subscribe button, and we will see you on the next one. Take care now. Happy St. Patrick's Day.